Hello and welcome to your 7th pre-algebra class. I'm Mr. Marcus, your summer school math teacher. And today we're actually going to talk about the last topic in chapter 1, which is the coordinate plane. Okay, so this is the last video that you guys are going to have for your test this week. From tomorrow on, all the other videos are going to be for your next exam. So with that in mind, guys, let's get started then with the coordinate plane. So what is a coordinate plane? Now in your textbooks on page 47 or 46 if I'm not mistaken, the book gives us a definition of what a coordinate plane is, and they tell us what ordered pair is and quadrants and origins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to summarize a little bit, go straight into 2 examples, and then of course at the end of this video, just like all the other videos, I will assign the work that you're going to be doing. So what is a coordinate plane? Well, if we go by the definition given to us in our textbook, it says that a coordinate plane is formed by the intersection of a horizontal and vertical number line at a point called the origin and divides the plane into 4 quadrants. So, what a coordinate plane is basically a horizontal number line and a vertical number line that connect, and the point in which they connect is right here, and it's called the origin. And now the origin will always have or will always be identified as 0, 0. So again, you have a horizontal number line, which is called the x-axis, intersecting with a vertical number line, which is called the y-axis, and they intersect at this point right here called the origin, or also referred to as 0, 0. Now they divide and it's called a plane because the intersection of these 2 lines actually divides the plane into 4 quadrants. And this is quadrant 1, and this is quadrant 2, and this is quadrant 3, and this is quadrant 4. Okay? So they go counterclockwise. Quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Now, in a coordinate plane is represented by points. Now, a coordinate plane is the basis for points on a graph, and this is not a new science. This is used hundreds and hundreds of years ago when cartographers or people who made maps used a similar method to this in order to determine the location of certain areas. So again, just summarizing before I move on, a coordinate plane is the intersection of 2 number lines, a horizontal number line called the x-axis, a vertical number line called the y-axis. They intersect at a point called the origin, which is referred to 0, 0, and they divide the plane into 4 quadrants: quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the ordered pair, so I'm actually going to go ahead and erase this so we can understand what an ordered pair is. Now, an ordered pair is defined, and I'm actually going to erase this real quick, and then I'll fix it again. So in your book, an ordered pair is defined by each point is represented by an ordered pair. The first is an x-coordinate, and the second is represented by a y-coordinate. Now, before I go into what an ordered pair is, I want to explain something. So a number line, every number line is called, or a number line is called that because it's a line that has numbers. Now, we don't know where numbers begin, and we don't know where numbers end, but we do know that when we have numbers on a coordinate plane, all of the numbers to the right are positive. So we have positive 1, positive 2, positive 3, positive 4, and it continues infinitely to the right. And to the left, all the numbers are negative. We know that for vertical, for a horizontal number line, I mean negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and negative 4. So we do know that because I did explain this in the other videos when we had number lines. All the numbers to the right of a number line are positive. All the numbers to the left of a number line are negative. But what about the y-axis or the vertical number line? Well, all the numbers that go up are positive. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And all the numbers down are negative. So we'll say this is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and negative 4. So it's very important that we understand that, especially when we start identifying and graphing them. So in a number line, the x-coordinates are all the numbers, or in the coordinate plane, excuse me, the x-coordinates are all the numbers that lie on the horizontal number line, and the y-coordinates are all the numbers that lie on the vertical number line. Now an ordered pair is always represented by an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate. So how would we represent an ordered pair in this number line? We would represent it by obtaining an x-coordinate, and we always start at our x-coordinate. So we'll start at -3, right? So -3 in x means I'm going to move -3 spaces to the right. So to the left, so -1, -2, -3. So I know that I'm going to start at -3, but let's say I have my y-coordinate of -2. So how do I represent this graphically? Remember that an ordered pair has a x-coordinate and a y-coordinate, and it's always going to be in that order. X comes first, y comes second. So how do I represent this in a graph? Well, I know that -3, which is my x-coordinate, and -2, which is my y-coordinate. So I have to locate -3 on the ordered pair, or on the number line, excuse me. So -3 would be 1, 2, and here's where -3 is. And it says that my y-coordinate is -2, so from -3 I move 2 spaces down, which is 1 and 2. And we'll use the letter P for point and represent this as -3 and -2. So -3 is 1, 2, -3 spaces to the left, and -1, -2 spaces down. Okay, so that's what an ordered pair is, and that's how they're represented. Now, ordered pairs can be both positive terms, or both negative terms, or one positive term, or one negative term, but we'll see that in a few minutes. Right now, we just discussed the basis of what a coordinate plane is. And again, this is available on page 47 of your textbook, so you can feel free to go back and review the pages. I'm actually going to erase the board so I can go straight into the examples. Example 1 and example 2, which are found on page 47, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So let me erase this real quick. So in example 1, they give us a coordinate plane and expect us to identify the ordered pair. So let me actually go ahead and rewrite this here where there's more space. So we have our coordinate plane, remember, a y-axis, which is the vertical number line, and an x-axis, which is the horizontal. And we have, so we'll say 1, 2, 3. We'll call this 1, 2, and 3. And we'll call this one right here 1, 2, and 3. And we'll have -1, -2, and -3. And to the left we have -1, -2, and -3. And what they want us to do is actually to determine what ordered pair does each letter represent. So I've been given in example number 1, I've been given 2 ordered pairs represented by a letter. Represented by letter B and represented by letter A. So in example number 1, I'm going to identify each ordered pair. So identify each ordered pair. Now what I mean by identify is tell me what number does point B represent. So how do I do that? Well, or what number does point A represent? So how do I do that? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is remember that an ordered pair always starts with an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate. So I'm going to go towards where A is, and I'm going to look at the point, and I'm going to see what number is point A below. So point A is actually below 2, which means that the first number in the ordered pair is a +2. Now, in order for me to find the y-coordinate, I'm going to look at what number is A next to. So point A is actually next to -3 because Remember that all the numbers in the vertical line going downward are negative. So A is next to negative 3. So that means that the ordered pair that represents A is actually positive 2, negative 3. So you can actually write it on a separate sheet of paper or separately from the ordered pair, or you can just write it down here. It really doesn't make much of a difference. So I just wrote it like that. Now they want us to identify B. What ordered pair is B? So we'll go ahead and remember that in an ordered pair, the x coordinate goes first and the y coordinate goes second. So I'm going to go towards where B is. And I notice that B is above a number. So what number is B above? Well, B is above negative 3, which means that the first number in my ordered pair, or my x coordinate, is actually negative 3. But what number is B next to? Well, B, if I look, and sometimes it helps to draw this to identify it. So I see that B is next to positive 2, and B is above negative 3. So we say that the ordered pair is negative 3 and positive 2. Okay? So sometimes it'll help to draw that like dotted line to help you identify. I can do the same thing for A. So A is actually above, or below in this case, positive 2, and next to negative 3. So the ordered pair is, for A is 2, negative 3. The ordered pair for B is negative 3. And I can go ahead and write it here, negative 3 and positive 2. So that's how you identify ordered pairs based on the letters given to you in a coordinate plane. But what if I do the opposite? What if I want you to graph the ordered pairs? And that brings us to our next example, or example number 2 for this video lesson. And in example number 2, they kind of want us to do the opposite, which is to graph the function itself. Not to identify where the points are located, but actually you draw the points yourself. And in example 2, it says plot the points in a coordinate plane. And they want us to plot point A. Point A has the ordered pair 4 and 1. Now, how do I find 4 and 1 in a coordinate plane? Let me go ahead and actually add 4 here and add negative 4 here and add positive 4 over here and positive and 4 and 5 for that matter, just so that everything is done accordingly. And we'll say this is positive 5. And we'll add negative 4 and negative 5 over here just to make sure that everything is equivalent or the same. So give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so now we're being asked to graph. So the first one is 4 and 1. Now remember, as I've stretched throughout the video, that the first number is the x coordinate, and that's where I'm going to start. Now, the x coordinate is 4, and it's positive 4. So that means I'm actually going to start right here. Because remember that in the x-axis, all the numbers to the right are positive. So 4 is right here, and my y-coordinate is 1, which means that I'm going to count 4 spaces to the right because it's positive 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then my y-coordinate is 1, so that means I'm actually going to move 1 space up. And this is where point A is actually located. Positive 4, positive 1. Very simple. It's kind of like playing connect the dots. B is actually 0 and negative 3. So this one is kind of tricky because they're saying that the x coordinate is 0. Now, whenever the x or y coordinate is 0, it refers to the origin. So I know that 0 is right here because it's my origin. So that's my x coordinate. And my y coordinate is negative 3. Now y, remember, y represents up or down. And if y is positive, that means that the point moves up. And if y is negative, that means that the point moves down. In this case, it's negative 3, so we count 3 spaces down. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. And this is where B is located, right there. 0 and negative 3. And lastly, we have C, which is actually negative 2 and negative 5. So negative 2 is my x coordinate, which means I'm going to move 2 spaces to the left. So I'm going to count negative 1, negative 2 is right here. And then it says negative 5 is my y coordinate. So what does that mean? That means I'm going to go to -1, -2 is where I start, and then I'm going to count 5 spaces down. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is where point C is, and that is -2 and -5. Let me write that a little better. -2 and -5. So that's how we identify points on a coordinate plane and how we plot them. It's very simple. However, if you feel like you need to pause and rewind the video and go over the lesson again, feel free to. If you need to go to your book, it's on from pages 46 through 49, which is section 1.8. Feel free to do so. Once you've done all that, once you've looked at the examples and feel ready to start practice problems, you're going to go to page 49 and you're going to do problems 8 through 24. Now, problems 8 through, like the first part, I think it's 8 through 17, is actually where you have a coordinate plane like this one, and all you need to do is identify the points. And then the other exercises is kind of like what we did for example number 2. So this is your favorite math teacher signing off. Stay safe and we'll see each other soon. Bye-bye.